ancient world, and, it may have sealed his own fate. When Sennacherib's eldest son died, he controversially skipped over his other older sons and named his youngest Esarhaddon as the heir. Well, the enraged brothers decided to do something about it. They murdered their own father while he was praying in a temple, which then plunged the entire empire into a bloody civil war.
Esarhaddon eventually won that civil war and took the throne, but the betrayal left him deeply scarred. For the rest of his life, he was consumed by paranoia, constantly consulting oracles, hiding out in fortified palaces, absolutely terrified of assassins in his own court. Which brings us all the way back to our original question. How did an empire this huge, this powerful, this seemingly invincible, end up as a forgotten ruin in the desert? Well, it wasn't one thing. It was a perfect storm of crises all hitting at once.
The fall of the empire was really driven by three things happening at the same time. A whole lot of political instability, sudden environmental pressure, and of course, the rise of new enemies.
So check this out. Recent climate science shows that a decades-long mega drought hit the Assyrian heartland, crippling their food supply. This weakness came at the absolute worst time, because an empire built on terror meant they had no allies, just millions of subjects who hated them and were desperate for revenge. This led to constant, resource-draining rebellions. And right at that moment of weakness, a new coalition of their old enemies, the Medes and the Babylonians, rose up, ready to land the killing blow.
In the year 612 BC, that coalition of enemies did what was once unthinkable. They broke through the walls of Nineveh, the great Assyrian capital. They sacked the city and burned it to the ground. The destruction was absolute. The empire that had terrorized the world for centuries wasn't just defeated, it was wiped from the map. So completely, in fact, that its memory was literally erased. When Xenophon and his soldiers marched past those ruins 2 centuries later, all that was left were mysterious old walls and some wild stories about angry gods.
And yet, here's the final twist. Their legacy is immense. The Assyrians basically created the blueprint for what an empire is. The professional army, the system of provinces, the use of terrorist policy, the monumental architecture. This model would be studied and copied for thousands of years by the Persians, the Romans, and countless others.
It really leaves you with a sobering thought. The Assyrians saw themselves as an eternal empire, the center of the universe. And just 200 years after they fell, they were completely forgotten. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What great powers of today will be nothing but mysterious ruins tomorrow?